Welcome to another pitch deck critique. Appreciations for this founder to allow us to look at his pitch deck, give a critique, and provide feedback, but in a recorded format. Again, I always admire the courage because I know it takes a lot to put out a pitch deck and to have a critique. So I want to just do this justice because I know, as with my previous critiques, I know this founder, work with this founder, I'm the founder's advisor, but also the business is cool and it's up and running actually. And I'm personally vested in this. So let's make this pitch deck really pop. This pitch deck is a SaaS platform. So it's a SaaS and it's a concierge service for dental clinics. And we're going to talk about this one-liner there for a moment. My initial reaction is concierge service. I fundamentally know, I think I know what that means, but I'm wondering if there's a better way to describe what it does. And we're going to see this right away as we go into the slide. So this is going to be the pre-screener deck. So again, want to clarify that this is a screener deck. And that's the feedback. So it's a screener deck that you're going to send to VCs or potential investors. I know for a fact this company has raised substantial amounts of capital, pre-seed capital, to launch their product. So they're in the seed round, or they're going to be doing a bridge round from pre-seed to seed because they need a little bit more traction. But we're going to talk about that in a moment. So once again, screener deck. And most likely when you're presenting to an investor, you're going to have a little more information than I'm going to recommend having in the screener deck. This is the deck that gets sent via a link and says, hey, if you would like to look at our deck, check it out. But the heavy lifting is done in the email, explaining, giving the quick pitch in email and getting the investor to read the email and then look at the screener deck. Let's move on. So description. So this whole slide is unnecessary. Is unnecessary to have a description, even the word description, and it doesn't set up the problem solution. It's just an explanation. So this is kind of like your executive summary. So personally, I say take this whole slide out, but let's take a look at some of the things that you said. A unique product that links dental clinics to their chosen partners and partner services. Interesting. Simplifies and manages all dental related procurement vendor services. So that's where I'm wondering if you can put that in this thing right here, the cover, and instead of this, put in something like connecting, dentists with procurement services and all their vendors or something like that, right? Instead of a concierge service, this is my question, procurement, vendors, etc. So taking some of that vernacular or the verbiage, the narrative that's on the description slide and putting it and condensing it, all that down into one title, one liner on the cover. So take this slide out and go from there. We want to get right to problems. Okay. So I always hesitate, and this is just a formatting thing. The most bold and the most prominent text on your problem slide should be the problem itself. You can put something, really small like problem up here, right? If you want to put there, but investors don't need to see that. And so here we've got, 1, 2, 3, 4 statements. So we need one statement, get it down pat. And if you need to, have bullet points. So let's condense. Let's take a look at this sort of thing. Communication between dental practices and their vendors is outdated and complex. Outdated and complex, like that means nothing to an investor. Like, what does that mean? Inefficiencies, like what's inefficient and reduced practice. Okay, so here's where it gets a little painful. Reduced practice production, cost of mistakes, wasted staff time, increased expenses, decreased profit. Okay, so now we're getting into the pain, which is good. So let's keep working through this. Each vendor has unique ordering system protocol, Okay, so that's the problem here. And with dental office staff transition, there's no clear, easy way to transition process and history. Okay, we're getting in the complexities of the problem here. We need to boil this down. So I'm wondering if we can just say, dentists or dental practices, dental offices lose, X amount of dollars, millions or billions per year, or millions, or lose 20% profitability. So how painful? Can we quantify the pain very clearly because their ordering system sucks? And I'm totally being reductive with this, but can we get into that type of statement there? And again, as the founder, you're going to know more. You have more domain expertise of the problem, but boil it down like dentists lose profitability, or lose 20% of their profits a year, or 30% of profits a year because of inefficient ordering systems, their vendors, and the protocol and communication, etc. So can we boil all this down into one statement, and then maybe have different one single bullet points, stuff like lost transition process in history, etc. And 3 quick bullet points to flesh out the problem, but your one statement is very clear. So all this can go into one statement, and that's not easy, but it's the narrative that we want to see, because we're going to completely lose the investor right away, because the problem is not relevant enough in a way that they're going to solve. Now, let me take a moment and talk about this, because I see a lot of founders, if they get really good at pitching to, let's say, friends, family, and associates who resonate with the problem. So in this case, I know for a fact this founder got their initial pre-seed investment in an FFA round with dentists. So dentists get it. But if you want to talk to an investor, a professional investor, institutional investor, they don't resonate with the problem. They just need to understand the problem. So you have to explain it to them in a way where they say, oh, I didn't know that dentists have this problem. That's a big problem. A lot of dentists have that problem, and that's a huge opportunity in the marketplace. So your pitch deck from the problem solution statement, when you're talking to investors that don't have the inside language and knowledge about your industry, it's almost like, did you know that all dental practices lose, 30% profitability, equaling, like up to millions of dollars per dental practice every year because of inefficient, complex ordering procurement services where they can't contact their vendors, etc. You want to present the novel insight, because that investor is not a dentist. That investor is not inside your organization. So you have to almost step out of the shoes of someone who's close to the problem. This is where founders trip over themselves, because they're so close to the problem, they can't see the forest for the trees, nor can they communicate that we're even in a forest or you're looking at a tree. So the trick is to use language that the investor can understand. And then if you do it in a way a dentist is going to understand, people understand this. And the last question. All right, so now we get in a solution. Once again, take this out, put it there. One software solution that manages all dental related procurement. You can get this all in a thing. We've built a platform that connects a dentist with all procurement, smart purchasing, tracks and organizes things, and provides direct communication to all vendors, saving, or what is the result? Okay, what is the benefit? Saving them millions of dollars a year, or increasing the profitability of the thing, but of every dental practice by 20%, which the average dental practice, that's $2 million a year. I don't know what that is, but if you've quantified the problem, you want to quantify the solution in a way that makes them go, okay, I'm super interested now, because now you have taken away the pain, but also made the life, someone's life a lot better. So that's where you can do things like let's say for Dropbox. I was just thinking about Dropbox because I think they're a bootstrap company, but Dropbox, the pain was we lose files. And so the pain is losing files, and which costs massive amounts for recovery, IT, you know, all this stuff, security situations. Like it's billions of dollars of liability. While Dropbox puts everything on the cloud, so you never lose your files again. But not only that, you can collaborate and share and increase productivity, et cetera, right? And so that would be kind of the benefit that we would add on there. Now, that's a pretty good solution that you're never going to lose your files again, but really add some punch. So if you can put the benefit, so what is the ultimate benefit? How does the user's life improve when you're doing this? That's the solution statement. So get one solid statement there, make it the biggest, the boldest thing. And then if you want 3 bullet points, add in there, you know, that's fine. But it should exist or should stand alone with that one solution statement. Okay, so competition, this slide needs to go later. Competition slide does not go up front unless there's a reason for it. No direct competition. So this is, that's just, you know, just going to be direct amateur move. There's always competition. You don't want to say there's no direct competition. There may be nothing that exists of its kind right now, but there may be competitors who want to get in that space. I know for a fact there are lots of companies trying to, maybe they've got their own set of products. They're trying to make it easier for dentists to order, et cetera, right? So, so e-commerce. So you just want to put things like e-commerce products. So e-commerce provides price comparison, supply procurement, well-funded, focused on price shoppers only. Like this is a big question mark. So we're going to get to that, but you do this founder does have another slide in here as I looked at it before. So let's get to that right there. But competition, don't say no competition, first of all. Second of all, don't put the competition slide up front early. It should go problem, solution, and competitive advantage, or how it works. Now, here's where we do get into this competition thing. And again, you're not going to win any points. Now, if you've chosen to do a matrix, you're going to need more competitors in there. And here, the benefits, supply procurement is not a benefit. Vendor communication is not a benefit. It is a feature. So you want to make sure that, you know, like price comparison, you know, ability to see and choose best price, you know, type thing. So if you're going to say benefits, you better make sure that these are benefits in there. So again, the competition, you can eliminate that previous slide, say there's no competition, and just put there are other markets that want to, or other competitors in the market that propose the same type of solution that is out there. Again, no investor worth their salt is going to believe that there's no competition. There's either somebody building it or someone offering an alternative. Maybe the FFA investors are going to believe that there's no competition, but believe me, I know angel investors that take it on as a challenge. If they say there's no competition, they literally get mad and they start Googling all your competition and they'll find it. So, and then they just don't trust. So you want to demonstrate that you've thought long and hard about your competition, even the ones that could enter in your marketplace, and how they could immediately throw $300 million and blow you out of the water. So primary market. So this is where, so this is the interesting size of the market. It could be interesting in the way you do it. I prefer TAM, SAM, SOM, but let's go with this format, right now. If you're going to do this, you need to explain how how these connect. So what I don't understand here is, okay, there's 250,000 dental practices in the US and Canada. So estimated annual dental procurement, what does that mean? Like, is that the amount that they're ordering? So 250 or $13 billion. And then how does that equate to $450 million projected annual dental procurement subscriptions? This makes no sense to me whatsoever. So if you're going to paint out a story, then have it make sense. So there are 250,000 dentists that order $13 billion worth of supplies and all this stuff. And I may not be getting this right. Again, this is the reason it's confusing. Then how does that equate? So if we got every dentist to give us a percentage of their transaction, or we claimed their losses or help them save money, how much would they pay us? There needs to be something a little better. even if you just want to put this and say 250,000 dentists or ordering $13 billion of stuff through their janky, inefficient, confusing, convoluted ordering services, maybe that's going to explain, the size of the market. Really not that. It's really important that you make it clear, because this just looks like you're throwing out some numbers and expecting me to understand. You're kind of razzling dazzling me. How am I supposed to believe it's 450 million? Is that you making $450 million? I don't understand, this slide whatsoever. But I also know, again, this founder, just caveat here, that it's not meant to be, I'm not, throwing shade. Okay. What I'm explaining is, I know this founder knows their numbers a lot better than this and has a better story. And I've heard it live and in person. We just got to get it into the slide deck. Okay. Revenue model, that's fine. And now if I'm going to be picky about this, I would take this out and I would have the big headline say, we charge a monthly subscription, and then put 149 a month. And then we plan future revenue streams, that's fine. Right. So figure out what that looks like. Secondary markets, don't really care about that right now. The reason being is, as an investor, I want to see you dominate. And a smart investor is going to think, oh, this could go everywhere. But I want to see you dominate one particular vertical or niche and get entrenched in that before you start explaining how you're going to take over the world. So there's revenue model. Okay, growth projection. This, again, means nothing. Okay, anybody can put a hockey stick growth projection on there. What does that mean? I say take out this slide completely, and I'd rather see you create a TAM, SAM, SOM slide saying that, okay, if all 250,000 dentists order from us and, times are 149 a month, we'd be making gajillions and gajillions dollars a year. But we're going to focus on these types of dentists with the SAM, and then the SOM. This is what realistically we can go capture. I'd rather see that number, between 100 to $200 million a year. And let me explain something for a moment. So what's going to happen? And let me take off the slide here. And I'm getting all excited and hot and bothered about this. So what an investor is going to do is say, all right, so if this startup is going to go unicorn, we need to be generating $100 million of revenue per year. All right. So let's do it with this. Let's do it with this founder right now. Let's do it with this startup. So what I'm going to do is pull up my calculator here. So let's see, you can see it on screen. So I want to make $100 million a year, right? Okay, so let's just do 150 for posterity's sake a month. Okay, so here we go, times 12 months. Okay, that's $1,800 per dentist a year. So 250,000 dentists. Okay, 250,000 dentists times $1,800 a year. Okay, that is 450. Did I do that right? I can't. That can't be right. 250,000 dentists paying $1,800 a year equals. That's only $450 million. That's your TAM. That's not big enough. So we got to figure out. We got to change some things around. Or maybe you say, we're going to make this from advertising, et cetera. So we got all the dentists. And then what happens if you only get 1% or 10% of the dentists? How are you going to get to $100 million in revenue? So what an investor does is looks and says, okay, if they're going to make $100 million in revenue, okay, so let's do this. So $100 million in revenue, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, $100 million in revenue divided by $1,800 a year. Okay. This company needs to hit 55,555 dental practices. So now what the investor does is go, okay, do I think this company based on their plan is going to hit 55,555 and get all those locked in and service 55,000 dental practices a year? Maybe. Are they the right team to do it? they're going to be thinking all that through. What's their go-to-market strategy, all that stuff. And by the way, the go-to-market strategy is missing from this deck, right? So let's get back to what's going on here. So take out this growth projection here, and it just doesn't mean anything. Remember, an investor, once they get into due diligence, they're going to ask you for your financial model. And that's where you can talk about, here are scenarios and projections, but in a screener deck, not necessary. Okay. So this is where the financial ask is. This slide is out of place. Once again, you're going to see the reason for that. But, like, you can take this out: seed investment opportunity, $1.2 million, use of funds, development, marketing, and research. Some people want to see this breakdown, like how many engineers. And again, the reason you don't have the go-to-market strategy is there. So I don't know what 30% sales and marketing goes to. I would actually put, if you were going to do a bridge round, because you might not have enough traction to do seed round, you might want to put, previously raised, right? Already raised, because investors will want to know that other people have already put this skin in the game. They want to know what the pre-seed round is, et cetera, right? 1.2 million. Now you have a choice on whether you can start to say, we're going to do it via instrument, convertible debt, or anything. Seed usually is a convertible type round, either safe or whatever. Once you get an A round, that's the price round, right? So you might want to be clear on that, or you can keep it vague. It's kind of up to you what's going to look like that, right? So now what I did, I took on the names here. So this is the team. And here's what I like is 20 years of dental consulting, procurement, 13 years, business analytics, companies from IPO. This is good, right? 10 years of dental office management experience, an advisory team member, this, etc. Now I'm going to say, these advisory team members, these really aren't, this is not moving the needle for me as much as this core team. So you might want to, highlight the 4 and then just put, advisor, that founded whatever, and just put some text in there. But I like the team. I like the highlights. I like the, demonstrating domain expertise. Clean that up, make that, more efficient there. And then thank you. So let's figure out the order. This is where the team is not the last, the ask should be the last slide, and the team should go before the ask, and, competitors and all this stuff, missing the go-to-market strategy. So let me lay this out here and put it out there. Let me see if I can pick a better color that's going to show up a little more. Let's just use black. So right now, what you want is the cover slide. So I'm going to put cover with the statement, and then you want problem. And I'm just doing this based on this deck, on what I think that we can offer in there. Problem, solution. Okay. And I'd like a slide on how it works, and it needs to be unique. So, maybe just one simple screenshot of, they get a back office, and then everything, they get a report, and they can just hit, and they can chat with us, something like that. So how it works, how it's unique, and, put in there, like, what's the competitive advantage? Unique. Well, if it's unique, that might be the competitive advantage type thing, but I'm really wondering what this question is. So how the solution actually works, like, is it on iPads? Is it mobile? Is it, all this stuff? Like, does it plug in? Does it connect you to your QuickBooks or whatever dental systems there are out there, and all those things, right? So how it works. And this doesn't necessarily mean that this is how it's supposed to work, or it could be how it's going to work, but this is how it's supposed to work. And you can kind of explain, this is where we are right now. So we're going to go, how it works. And then probably I'm going to go market size. And this, I would have preferred, TAM, SAM, SOM, something like that, right? And you want this to be in billions, please. So you're going to have to explain how this is absolutely huge type thing. And then what you're going to do next is probably have a combination of competition. Okay. And then also go to market. Sometimes you put that here, go to market. And then after that, I want the traction slide. And the traction slide is, because I know this startup. So what actually has happened? So we're up and running. MVP launched. I know this for a fact. MVP launched. And so, because you're asking for a seed round, you're implying that there's a product that's been launched. So MVP launched, and how many users? How many users are using your MVP, right? And you don't have to show growth traction. You just have to validate that we actually have dentists that have signed up and that are using it. Maybe they're beta users or, all this stuff. But if a dentist is willing to install a SaaS solution, in their back office, well, you've got some commercial validation, right? So let's get some traction slides going on. Then you want to have team, and then you want to have the ask. I apologize to this founder. This is a really, really messy slide. Let me try and explain. So cover slide, problem slide, solution slide, how it works, market, how big is the market? This is a, market in the billions. Then we want the competition slide and a go-to-market slide. Then I want the traction slide, and then team, and then ask. And then maybe a contact at the end. Okay. So bang, 11 slides. Okay. So that's how this can work. And all the details that I've put in there. And I think this starts off. Now, how are you going to present this deck? Well, this is where you present the deck, but you may have more information on different things like market traction, all that stuff, right? So you want to explain or have a slide ready where you can explain more things if they've looked at the slide deck and they want you to go into more detail. So you're going to have a screener slide, and then you may have a master slide deck that shows more screenshots, or probably at this moment in time, they're going to get online, they're going to ask you for a demo of the software, and they're going to want to see it, right? Since it's already built. Proof of life, confirmation that you've actually built something. So there's the deck. There's the feedback. Again, I know this founder, legitimate domain expertise, doing good things. I have confirmed, I've seen the software myself. And therefore, I always think, man, it is just a travesty that these pitch decks don't communicate really how cool the startup is and how much potential. I believe in this founder. I believe in the software. You know who I'm talking to you. And I know you're going to be watching this and changing. Good luck with your meetings, and let me know if you have any questions. And for everybody else, follow the advice there. We have the course, the Pitch Deck Perfection course, as well as office hours. And of course, if you want us just to do your pitch deck for you, we got services, and we got subject matter experts, advisors, and service providers that can just do your pitch deck for you, talk with you, draw out the narrative, all that stuff. Let us know if you need anything like that. But in the meantime, good luck with your pitch decks, and keep hustling, grinding, whatever startup cliche you want to use. But remember your training, stay hydrated, be well, all that encouragement. All right. Talk to you later.